If we haven't met before, hi, my name is Kasia and you're watching Life Full of Beans. I create simple coffee guides and create coffee related content. So if you're into that thing, you do want to subscribe and turn on notifications to be the first one to know when the new content is updated or when I go live. Anyhow, that was planned. Anyhow, without further ado, today I will show you how to prepare AeroPress the simple way. So we're going to cover what is it, how to make it, how it tastes, and basically everything you should know about it. So in the first place, why AeroPress? I personally think that this is one of the best devices to travel with, and yes, I know about coronavirus. I mean, I haven't been raised under the rock, you know. But simply once things go back to normal and once you will be able to travel again, this is what you can take to brew your coffee wherever you are, but also that gives you a really beautiful complex cup. Okay, so what is this thing? AeroPress is a brewing device invented by Alan Adler, a Stanford University professor, but also the owner of Aeropress, which is a company that basically manufactures anything from plastic. These guys have on their account quite a few incredible inventions, but also products. One that you might be very aware of is Frisbee, but also AeroPress. So Alan Adler is an inventor, but also the owner of the company. So apparently the idea of AeroPress was born over a dinner table when his wife complained about not being able to brew a single cup of coffee at a time. Yes, we women tend to do that, don't we? Because simply at that time there wasn't that many devices that could brew you a small amount of coffee. Normally you would be talking about percolators or mocha pots that would extract slightly stronger brew, so you would normally share them and definitely not have them in bigger amount. So anyhow, the idea was born and AeroPress was patented in 2005, and ever since there's been hundreds of ways to actually brew this thing. You can brew it, you can press it, you can make it more espresso-like, you can use coarse or fine grind, you can play with water temperature. There's many different ways. There's actually over 7,000 different ways of brewing AeroPress. But today I'm going to show you the one that I normally use wherever I go or at home to simply create a really good cup of coffee. Okay, so there's very few things that you need, and the good news is most of them actually come in a box. So obviously you're going to need AeroPress, so you've got your cylinder, you've got your plunger, then you've got your cup that you put filter in, your paper filters, but you can also get some reusable metal filters if you're more into reusable products. Does it taste the same? Nah. Is it good? It's not bad, it just tastes different because it's a different paper. This is the beauty of the product. Play with it, why not? And if you carry about an environment, you can get one of these and just reuse it many times. Then you've got your paddle thing that basically is used to steer your coffee. Then measuring scoop, which is great, especially if you don't have a scale or if you don't travel with one. Then of course, you're gonna need good coffee with focus on good coffee. For any brews, whether it's AeroPress or not, you want your coffee to be fairly fresh. So we are talking, coffee should be not more than a month old, I would say. Then if you have a grinder, get the beans. But if you don't, or if you're planning to travel, there's nothing wrong about having your AeroPress pre-ground coffee. But make sure that you state it's AeroPress. You can't use espresso, you can't use cafetiere. If you use cafetiere, it's too coarse, it's going to under-extract your coffee. If you use espresso, it is too fine, so by the time it's going to brew, it will burn as well. So now when it comes to wrong grind. So I have already some pre-ground, which is quite fine. We're talking more of a sand, fine sand texture. Definitely not powdery. Powdery is what you want to reserve yourself for espressos. Last but not least, obviously water. I'm doing one of the Harrier gooseneck kettles, but you don't need to specifically use it for this pour. Like gooseneck kettles are amazing, especially if you're doing pour overs. Like this is where it's quite necessary because the whole speed of the pour, that's what really matters in them. But for this one, no need to. Okay, so since we've got everything, let's get into brewing. One more thing that I've got, and I am very aware that not many people use it for traveling. I'm definitely not one of them. is the scale. Yes, you can get really small ones. I'm going to link some down below if you really want to play around with them, and if you really do want to keep those measurements great. But there's no need. Still, because I'm showing you how to brew it, I might as well just show you how to use all of these bits at once instead of brewing over 7,000 times. Yeah, because I mean, ain't nobody got time for that. Well, anyhow, AeroPress Assemble. Beautiful. Okay, so this technique is called inverted technique because I inverted the entire device. The normal way, well, let's not call it normal, but the other way would be simply like that. You have your cap on, you put everything in here, put the plunger and then press. I like to flip it, so I will. So the first thing you want to do is to preheat your device. So all I'm doing now is putting a little bit of hot water just to warm it up, because coffee does brew better if you do preheat your devices. The next thing you want to do is get your paper filter, get your cup, put it in, and you always want to rinse your filter, because otherwise it will have a papery taste, and trust me, you don't want that. So just a little bit over. There we are. You can leave that on the side, get rid of the water, and you're done and ready to brew. So what we're going to do now, this is where I'm going to be using both scale and my measuring scope. So if you are using scale, this is what you do. So you turn your scale on at this point and you want it to be tar and show you 0. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to measure a single scoop, and I'm also going to show you the weight, because that should weigh with the correct grind. So AeroPress grind, that should weigh about 15 grams, which is great. So there you go, that's pretty full. And now we're going to drop it in. Wrong unit. Okay, so this is fairly accurate, and especially if you're traveling, it saves you some luggage space. Okay, so now we're going to give it a small tap, and the next thing we're going to do, we will bloom the coffee. By saying bloom, what that means is that you pour a small amount of water over your grounds just to cover them up. And during blooming, the coffee will not only puff up, preheat, so it will be preheating and getting ready for extraction. As soon as the surface of the coffee grounds are in contact with water, the extraction will start. However, this particular step does open the grounds and give you access to those goodies inside. So you do want to bloom your coffee for about 30 seconds. If you're brewing using scale, try to be anywhere around 50 milliliters of water, which is perfect. If you go a little bit over, it's not the end of the world, so don't worry about that. But if you brew somewhere else, just cover the grounds with a small amount of water, you'll be fine. So then the next thing you want to do right after, just pour that water. Like, there's no explanation here. So we're going up to the top, well, almost to the top. So I'm going to stay, if you're not using a scale, then you want to stay anywhere around an inch from the top. But if you are using scale, you want to go to about 250 milliliters. And then, as you can see, I grabbed my paddle straight away, and all I'm doing is I'm giving it a gentle stir. I would even say try to move it and lift up those grounds rather than just give it a regular stir. You want all of that coffee to be surrounded by water. So you do want to mix it pretty well, not too fast, because I can guarantee you that's going to go all over your table. And in this case, I've got a glass one and I don't want to be cleaning it for a very long time. Thank you. And that's it. And because I'm brewing AeroPress, I'm just going to put my cap on and leave it like that for another 2.5 to 3 minutes. And then we'll extract all the goodies out of it and enjoy my coffee, which I actually don't even know which one I had today. So after that, I'm definitely going for a run. Grab a cup with pre-soaked filter, put it on top, screw it on in tight. You're not going to need the scale anymore, so that can be cleaned. And after 2.5, 3 minutes, maybe we will just flip it, extract it, and enjoy it. And as we wait for that to brew, I've got a question to you. Do you brew it the normal way or the inverted? And do you brew it at all or just extract it? Let me know, because I really find it interesting how people make their coffee. As 3 minutes gone by, what I'm going to do now, I will flip my coffee and then extract it. So very important thing, you don't want to flip the device straight away, because I can guarantee you're going to spill, you're going to burn yourself. And if you do that, just make sure that you let me know so I can say, haha, I told you not to do it. Okay, so this is what you do. You take your glass, you flip it upside down, and you flip the entire thing. There you are. That's secured and safe. It didn't drop a lot, but it could have. Okay, so now also don't apply the pressure both hands, especially when you're sitting. I'm sitting for a purpose. Not normally, still I wouldn't do that because your body weight is more than enough. So don't go crazy on the pressure with it unless you really try to get an espresso with a very, very small amount of volume. Give it a small swirl just to make sure that you get all those grounds from the walls, and then hold it down here, secure it together with your glass and start applying pressure. That's about it. You don't want to go too strong. Pretty much your body weight is more than enough, and that will also give you a really good indicator if you had a right grind. If you're pressing way too fast, that means you had a very, very coarse grind and your coffee is potentially under extracted. On the other hand, if you struggle to press it at all, that means you've got too fine grind. What you're waiting for if you're brewing a whole cup with this technique is you wait for the heat. Just like this one. And now you're done. The cool thing about AeroPress is that all you do now is get the cap off and get rid of your coffee. That's it. Then you just rinse it, you're ready to go. Your cup is done. I would say give it about a minute just to cool down, then it tastes even more complex. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys, and let me know in the comments down below if you want to more of these, if there's something you'd like to know. And I am trying to do my best posting quite regularly because there's more than a few projects I'm working on. So before you head off, make sure that you click that subscribe button, but also turn on notifications to know when the new content is being uploaded. And alternatively, I would suggest you check my other social media like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, and also my website, because this is where a lot of content is posted, so you can always stay up to date. For now, thank you for watching. I love you. Take care of yourself.